talk about sketch number 5. I really like sketch number 5 because sometimes it's nice to use a lot of photos on your page. So for this sketch, I wanted to use pictures of my daughter from the library last summer. She went to the library every week and she had a great time. And I love how happy she is in these pictures. When she got out of the car, I would ask her, could I snap a picture of her? And she let me. And then I went in the library 3 times to take a picture. So I like the balance of that. I try to have a mix of types of pictures when I'm taking them. So these 3, she's actually doing something, and these 3, she's just outside the car. I really like that. So what I decided to do is cut the word library out of my Silhouette Cameo, and then I used my Manganka brush pen to write some words at the bottom just about her experience, learning, friends, crafting, laughing, fun. Now, I did cut this a couple of times so that I could have an extra one and it wouldn't pressure me to get it perfect. And I went ahead and did that so that I could, actually I write better really late at night. So I did that last night. And so I'm really happy with how that came out. So what I'm going to do is, using this Notes and Things paper pad, this is from Crepe Paper, I'm going to put patterns behind each letter of this stencil. So I initially envisioned this being very colorful, kind of, if you're familiar with Paige Evans, kind of like one of her layouts where it would be very bright and colorful against a pop of white. But then when I saw Caroline's clothes in all of these, it just so happened that all of her clothes are pink, black, and gray. And so I felt like really bright colors wouldn't complement the photos, and I'm all about complimenting the photos. So that's why I decided to go with this Crepe Paper pad. So what I've done is chosen patterns from the paper pad and just laid them out in this way so I can see, are they going to flow together well? And I'll show you now how they're going to look. I didn't want like the florals to be next to each other. And I didn't want it to be all green in any area or all pink in any area. So I think that's going to work out well. So first I'm going to need to, some of these pictures have popped up a little bit. I obviously didn't use enough adhesive, so I'm going to adhere those pictures down. And then I think that I need to trim this piece. I had to cut this background a little bit as I was working on it. You can see it comes out a little wider. So I'm going to do those 2 things, and just then I'll turn this over and adhere the strips while you watch me. So I'll do that and be right back. Okay, now I have this fitted well into this space, and I cut a little bit off the top. I really didn't want to, but I didn't want it to cover up the pictures, and I wanted it to look centered. I really probably should cut just a smidge off the bottom, but I just am afraid I'll mess it up, so I'm going to let, as you can see, it's still just a smidge too big. But, it's better to not mess with things too much in case you mess them up. So I got the pictures stuck down well. Now let's work on these patterns on the back of this. So what I want to do is just go word by word, and let's see. I'm going to just put adhesive on the back of each section, one letter at a time. And I probably should be using something like a glue pen so that it's stuck, really well. But I'm afraid if I do that, I won't be able to move it around. And I've got to be able to move it around. So let's see. I want to leave enough to glue on, but I don't want too much. I'm just going to make that little mark. You have to put the pattern where you can see it to get it in the right place, because you don't want it to be crooked, especially on, on a stripe. I want it on the right slant. Okay, that was pretty good. Now I think it's going to be easier to move forward because I can let them overlap the back of the first letter. So I know I want that to look like that. I just love this piece, and I want to get a little bit of that green. So this piece doesn't really have enough of the green on it. I'm going to look for another piece there, here. There. Perfect. I'm just going to leave that there, and I'm going to try to stick this up under this piece. Ooh. Well, this one's barely wide enough. I'm going to get a little bit of that yellow. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, one left. This one will be much easier because the design is so consistent. In fact, I can just lay it down there like that. Yay. I really like this, so let's see how it looks with the pictures. Love, love, love. I love it. That makes me so happy. So now I'm going to take some washi tape and put across the back of these letters just to hold them down a little bit and make sure they're all going to stay. Of course, I don't want to use any dark washi tape because this white cardstock, you can kind of see through it. don't want there to be any gaps in the letters. You for sure don't want the edges of the first and last letter to come up. Okay, I feel better about that now. So now I'm going to stick this down. Okay, and I might go back and add some, put it on with score tape if I decide that's not going to do right. Okay, so you're probably wondering, where is the journaling? Because I do have a lot to say about these events in her summer at the library. So what I'm going to do is take a 6 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I'm going to just make the piece of cardstock be journaling. And I'm going to put that in a 6 by 12 page protector next to this layout. So you can look for that piece in the pictures below this video. And let's see, but first I want to add some more embellishments to this page. So let's think about what that might be. So I want to add just a little more embellishment to this page. And one reason is because this is not a very flattering picture of my daughter. Just the way her shirt was is not that flattering to her. And I want to cover that up a little bit. So I'm going to use some die cuts from the Maggie Holmes Confetti collection. And they match in colors very well. And I looked through all of these die cuts to see what I could put kind of on top of that photo. Now on that 6 by 12 page, I'll probably use a few strips of paper from this pad probably at the very top to kind of tie that into this page too. But I found this gray. I really like keeping with the gray. So I'm just going to cover up most of the photo with that. And then I like this star because it's pink and it's subtle. And then I like this little thing that says good times. So I think that will make a cute little cluster there. I don't want to cover her up too much, just enough to where you can see her pretty face. So I adhered those down. I cut the gray tag down just a little bit. And then I added an enamel dot from these Market Street by My Mind's Eye enamel dots just to bring in a little bit of the aqua. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. So be sure to watch Jen's video for sketch number 5. She did hers about the Smoky Mountain trip that we went on together. And she also used a cut file, but it's a cut file she created for our class, so you can use it too. So you're going to want to check that out, and I know you're going to love it.